Hello, networkers, and welcome back to another episode of Ask the Network Engineer. And in this episode, we will do another Q&A. So let's get started. And the first question is posted by CLI Soldier. That's a very good name. I love command line interfaces. Okay, so this question is, love your channel. I myself struggle with interviews. Not that I don't understand the topics, I'm nervous most of the time because I try so hard to make a great impression. So it's not really a question there, but I want to talk about that further. The key thing about interviews is really practice. Practice is really important. And I recommend really rehearsing in private. You should know basically what you need to say for particular questions that might come up. You want to practice how to explain your experience, your skill sets, even the type of goals that you want to accomplish in the future. You also want to explain and kind of rehearse how do you work through a problem step by step methodically. And companies love that because that's kind of giving them an insight of your thought process of working through a problem. So in summary, practice and rehearsing. But honestly, it is really about you being yourself. But when you practice, it gives you more of a comfort that you kind of know what you need to say when particular questions comes up. Because when people get nervous, it's more because they're not comfortable if their answer is what the other person wants to hear. Don't worry about what they need to hear, okay? If you're prepared, that's a good thing. But also just be yourself because that's what you can be doing on a day-to-day basis. And if you're putting up a fake face when you're doing an interview, it's going to falter very quickly. They're going to see that. And if you're a completely different person, you can be let go. Don't worry about that. If you are positive, if you're eager to learn, if you kind of be prepared again to know about how to talk about your experiences, your skills, your goals, you're going to be perfectly fine. Especially if you do meet the requirements of the jobs that you are applying for. So, and also understand that employers, they know that, candidates are going to be a little nervous. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay, like if someone makes a little blunder or something like that, I'm not going to ding you for that, or employers are not going to ding you for that. All right. They want to kind of understand really the overall package. What is your level of skills, your experience, basically? Talk about how do you, kind of figure out how you work through a problem or doing a project, but also really about the personality because hiring is not just technical. It's are you a good fit for the culture of the company? So just keep some of those things in mind. I also recommend checking out some of our other A&E episodes, specifically around interviews. And one of them is the 6-part series that I created called Applying for Jobs. And in there, I talk about interviews. So check that out for more details and information that I talk about with that. Also check out episodes 22, 66, 67, and 77. So check that out for more details. Okay, question number 2, which was posted by Nithya. I apologize if I mispronounced your name, but his question is, which country is better for network engineers? Currently, I'm in India and I'm planning to move to another country. And I have 2 years of experience in networking. Great question. Let's quickly talk about that. Okay, so first things first, you have 2 years of networking experience. That is really valuable. That's like weighted in gold. So that's a very, very good thing. So the best way for me to really answer that is, once again, it's all about location. Location is really important for any kind of opportunity that you may want to pursue. You want to go to the locations that have the most potential opportunities available. In this case, networking opportunities. In terms of the best place to move to, well, I really can't tell you that. There are a lot of opportunities in many cities around the world. But moving is really also a personal decision. You may have a personal interest to move to one country compared to another country, and I'm not going to put any bias. It all is based on your personal, but also understand your professional kind of decision-making process. What I can say is that what's really important is you should be looking at the big cities, the major cities around the world, and to look at the amount of networking jobs that could be out there. So places in the United States, like the Silicon Valley area, like San Francisco, San Jose area, that's definitely a big area. Los Angeles, New York, big cities in the US. Or in the UK, there's a lot of jobs out there, a lot of them that are networking related. Dubai, and so forth. So I would recommend to look at all these cities, do job searches, because you need to do research to see which of these major cities have the most potential opportunities that I could apply for. Because if you're moving to a location that only has a few networking jobs, it may be trickier and very unlikely that you might be able to get a networking opportunity there. So that's what I would recommend. I would also recommend checking out some of our other episodes, specifically episodes 21 and 69. So I talk a lot about locations, so check that out for more information. And the last question that I want to answer in this Q&A is posted by Vignesh, and I believe he posted another question before in the past. So thanks again for another question. And this really wasn't a question. This was really more of a kind of an opinion of continuing what I talked about in one particular episode. But let me just first read what he posted. He says, "Hello, Michael. It's also worth pointing out the reason for Cisco Pacific collaboration work going down is due to Microsoft Skype for Business being a competitor for Cisco. So I can see more enterprises moving towards that model." So let's talk about that. So that question, or really that comment, it came from one of the episodes that I did about voice versus security. And I talked about that voice is something that I'm not doing a lot of anymore like I used to years ago. It has gone down. And I talked about that cloud computing or hosted services is what a lot of companies are using. So when I read this particular comments, yeah, I agree with that. I'm not familiar with the Microsoft Skype for Business offering, but it is simply another voice cloud offering that a company could use for their voice services. So companies will not need to have their IT staff manage or deploy or troubleshoot a phone system anymore. The only thing they require is having phones at their location that are going to connect to, again, some kind of a phone provider that will have a web user interface. And the IT staff just needs to set up the extensions, voicemail, very, very basic stuff like that. Now, if you are a voice engineer with a lot of experience that you specialize with voice, I can understand that that particular comment that I just made could be a little bit of a concern, right? If voice is going down, does that mean I should be switching my career to something else, right? And I'm not going to say that you need to do that, but you need to be more particular on the type of jobs that you do apply for. And I talked about this before. But really, you want to look at the larger companies, like tens of thousands of users. They're not going to have a cloud service with tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of phones connecting up to a phone provider. That's super insane. So they will have a dedicated voice specialist or team that does the voice on the network. The Department of Energy, the place that I worked at, there was a dedicated team that did nothing but voice on the network itself. So bigger the environments, more there would be particular specialists in certain areas: security, storage, networking, database, things like that. Also, look at the cloud voice providers, the ones that are offering these services to companies to purchase and have their phones connected to their environment. You can also look into those companies for voice opportunities. So for anyone that is so interested in voice, I would recommend to check out some of our other episodes, specifically episodes 20, 23, and 80 for more stuff that I talk about with this topic of voice. So in summary, with this Q&A, the three takeaways from this is really the following. One, practice. Practice is really important, not just for interviews, but for anything, right? Even with your technical skills, practice is key. The more you do, the more you'll be better at it. Number two, location. Location has a big factor with the kind of jobs that you look for and the opportunities that are out there. That's really, really important. Do your research. And also, number three, I talked about is voice. If voice is something that is a big interest for you, that is still really powerful, but you're still kind of concerned, again, look at larger companies, look at the cloud providers for those opportunities because they will still exist there. And we're done with this episode. So if you have any questions about being a network engineer, post that below in the comments and your question will come up in a future episode on this channel. So thank you for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe and support us at rodhub.net. And until next time, keep networking.